just like a flash in a pan, we just have 9 games until the end of the Premier League season. That's 9 more game weeks for you to climb up in your mini leagues. And time is indeed running out. And on today's show, we'll be looking at premium picks for the rest of the season. We know that there's a blank game week coming and 2 more double game weeks coming in. So you definitely need a core in your team, and that's what we're going to be presenting to you right after this. Welcome back, and this is the Joy Fantasy Football Show, and my name is Owuraku Ampofo, and I'm in the company of, well, we have a debut here, and that's Bill Wishon. Hi Bill, how are you doing?
I'm good, Owuraku. How are you?
I'm good too. This is your first time on the show, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here. We'll be finding out more from Bill in terms of tips soon, but yeah, we have a veteran, right, by somebody who is doing his debut, and that's how you doing?
Great, I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm good too. So let's start from our game week 29, and do you want to share how it went for you?
It was really terrible. Of course, the big boys all messed up. Had Aubameyang, he got a -1.
Yeah.
Had Pogba, he also got a -1. Both of them missed penalties.
But I was interested in your captain. Who did you captain?
Jimenez, actually.
Whoa, that was big. I think you called Jimenez as a captain pick.
Actually, I did, but unfortunately, I didn't captain him. I was hoping for some good news from Salah, and he didn't deliver. So that's sad. But thankfully, I got 53 points, which was way above the average.
Yeah, way above the average.
It was okay.
So let's jump straight into the action, and let me start with you, Bill. And you have given me your premium picks from now up until the end of the season. You know that these guys are going to be providing a lot of FPL managers with points. And the first on your list is Sergio Aguero. Do you want to take us through why he is on your list?
Well, Sergio Aguero is, of course, a Premier League goal scoring contender. He has 88 goals so far, he's up top. And of course, he has a very brilliant form. We can account for the last 3 Premier League games at home at the Etihad. He has already scored 7 goals, and it looks like he'll be banging more goals, starting with Watford just this weekend, and then in the subsequent weeks. Even though there are some very interesting fixtures that City will have, he will definitely get the goals, and I'll be taking him for more FPL points in the future.
He's tipping him for more FPL points, but I have some questions for you, especially concerning Sergio Aguero. You spoke of his home form and how he tends to get most of his points at home. Well, you look at the fixtures left, and they have more away games than home games. Considering that and looking at how strong he has been, especially at home, scoring 2 hat-tricks against Chelsea and Arsenal, do you see this affecting him, especially, although their away games are against sides that they're supposed to win, but you look at last game week against Bournemouth, he failed to score again, and his away record may tamper a little in terms of his goal scoring form.
Yeah, but of course, with his, when we are looking at his own form, he usually gets a lot of goals at home. He can blank sometimes away, but a lot of his goals come at home. He can definitely make up for any blanks that come in the away games.
Okay, so that for you is Sergio Aguero, and interestingly, you also went with Sergio Aguero in your list. And do you have any points aside from what Bill has said that Aguero is good at home? His away form we cannot trust, but we know that he would compensate for that at home. Do you agree, or you think Aguero offers more?
So I actually think Aguero offers more. So far this season, he's had 18 goals and 8 assists, which comes up to 26 goal involvements in 25 games. He's only failed to start 4 games this season through injury, as we all know. Aguero, like he said, is a prolific striker. He's definitely the one to go for in the City team when it comes to goals. So you are sure that he's going to be involved, especially in the running. They just have 9 games to go. He's definitely going to be subbed off every now and then because of their Europe involvement or their involvement in the Champions League. So that is just a bit of a caution to take when you are choosing him. But I mean, it's most likely going to happen that Pep is going to choose him for the rest of the night.
Choose him for the rest of the 9 games, you do say, but of course, FPL managers want players who will be playing week in, week out. And you did speak of the rotation factor. And you look at the fact that Manchester City are still within contention of winning 3 different trophies. And you do get that feeling that a lot of attention will be paid, especially on the Champions League. And Gabriel Jesus has been missing in action for the past month or so. And it's a girl who has enjoyed a lot. He has played a lot of games. And don't you get that feeling that Jesus may start getting the nod, especially within the Premier League games, considering that they have tougher matches in the Champions League and especially in the FA Cup quarterfinal against Manchester United?
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, we all know Pep is a very pragmatic coach. When it comes to allowing players to have playing time, especially Jesus coming back from injury, he's definitely going to start Jesus or bring him on for Aguero in a couple of games. But the thing that you can rest on is that Aguero is a very explosive player. He can play a game and give you a hat-trick easily without even playing 60 minutes. He's done that before, and we know he's capable of doing it. So that's the main thing you can bank on when you're picking Aguero. He's a proven striker.
So both of the FPL experts here are going with Sergio Aguero, and the main point here is that he may not start all the games or play 90 minutes in all the games, but he can definitely compensate with his explosive number of points. And they had 2 choices to make. Now let's go around and check what their second option was. For Bill, I think you decided to go with yet another striker who should be in contention for the Golden Boot, and that's Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane, we all know how clinical he is in front of goal. Even though he has been out for a while, he's back, and we know the kind of what he brings to the team come to the end of the season. You can remember last season in the running, he was scoring a lot of goals. Even at the last,
even scored one in the process for Morrison.
Yes. Even on the last day, he scored a hat-trick against Leicester. So we can bank on him to get more goals now that he's back, and having Eriksen and the likes to provide him with the balls, he will definitely find a net.
But you mentioned Sergio Aguero and Harry Kane, and both are very expensive strikers, and that would come at a cost.
Yes.
Would you take this at the expense of having an average midfield or an average defense? Because you cannot have these 2 guys and have a good midfield and have a good defense.
Yeah.
Where do you think your sacrifice would come at if you want to get these 2 guys?
Well, I think I'll sacrifice the defense. Of course, we have Wan-Bissaka, who is a very good, cheap buy for a defender.
Yeah.
We have Robertson, we have Trent Arnold.
Robertson is really expensive.
Trent Arnold.
So yeah, Arnold could fit in for that budget. But definitely you can cut down on your defense if you want to go in for Kane and Aguero, 2 guys who will be competing for the Golden Boot come May when the Premier League does come to a conclusion. But for you, you went for someone different this time. You didn't go for a Sergio Aguero. And surprisingly, he's going for a defender, a contender for PFA Player of the Year, and that's Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going for Van Dijk, and it's for only one reason. The guy is very consistent. As we all know, he's been Liverpool's standout player this season by far. He has more than 160 points in FPL, which is definitely a good sign for a defender. And even though his price is very high, he's one of the premium picks, the best premium picks in terms of defenders that you can get. The statistics just back him up. He's played almost every single game this season. He's only missed out on 1 game, and even that he had to be subbed off early because of injury. He's been a rock at the defense. He scored 3 goals. He has 3 assists. He's got 16 clean sheets, and he's conceded only 15 goals in the process, which is it's a league low actually this season. So I think Van Dijk is definitely the one to go for if you're looking for a premium defensive pick.
Well, interestingly, over the past few weeks, we have seen how much of an attacking threat that he can be. Do you think that's something that he will capitalize on and probably get a few more goals into the end of the season?
Well, I hope he does.
Especially considering how poor Liverpool attacking the game.
Exactly. So I hope he can provide something in terms of attacking returns for the rest of the 9 games to go.
So that will be it for the premium picks from now up until the end of the season. Let me just take you through a little recap. And for Bill, he decided to go with 2 fantastic strikers. That's Harry Kane and Sergio Aguero. And for Enam, he decided to agree with Bill on one hand, as he chose Sergio Aguero. But on the other hand, he went in for a defender, that's Virgil van Dijk. So interesting picks there that you can consider, especially knowing that we do have a blank game week coming up next week. In game week 33, I think, and we would have a double game week after that, and another double game week after that. So these are guys that you can always consider and bank your hopes on. Of course, you need to have a call in your FPL team that would always supply you with those points. And speaking of points, of course, your captain picks are a chance to double your points, and it's been tough, especially looking at the last game week, where the top 10 most captain players are due a blank. So it's getting extremely frustrating. And before I do, get into your captain picks for the week, what strategy are you now adopting following how difficult it is to just pick a simple captain pick now? Let me start with you.
I'll just go for the booking contenders. That's the only way. Harry Kane, Aguero, one of them.
But only Harry Kane amongst all the lots scored last game.
Yeah, but it's rare for everyone to just blank just like that. And then probably the next game, the next, they'll just be banging in the boost. It's not every time that, of course, a captain will get you the points.
Yeah.
So, of course, we can just.
So you would just go for that going contenders.
Yeah.
And for you, any new strategy around the block?
Honestly, I think I'm very frustrated this season with choosing captain picks. So I'll probably go the same way Bill with in terms of choosing choosing goal king contenders, because they are most likely the ones who are going to deliver that.
But your instincts have been strong though. He predicted a Jimenez captain, and I saw his team. He made him a vice instead of choosing the captain. So can you just go through your captain picks? And for you, Bill, you're going with Sergio Aguero because he's playing at home. You want to take us through that?
Yes, he is playing at home against Watford. In the last 4 meetings against Watford, he scored 5 goals and he has given 2 assists. And of course, at home, when we are talking about home from the last 3 Premier League games at home, he has scored 7 goals. That's accounted for 43 FPL points. And of course, we're back on him to add more to that.
Okay, so Bill has been very biased to Sergio Aguero. And he's choosing Aguero as his captain pick, of course, for game week 30. And my man again, he's taking a very big hit. Something bigger than Jimenez. You guys should watch out for this. He's going with a Wilfred Zaha against the Brighton. Do you want to take us through this big hit?
So Zaha is a bit of a differential. He's actually come on a lot of managers' radars recently because of his upturn in form. He scored 5 goals in his last 6 games, which actually accounts for a lot more than he has scored prior to that all season.
So he's picking some form?
Yes, he's definitely a man of form now for Crystal Palace. And at home, they've looked to be very solid. They are playing a Brighton side who haven't kept a clean sheet at home in a very long while. They've actually kept only 2 clean sheets at their home. So anytime they go on the travels, they definitely concede. So I'm looking towards Zaha this game week to prove a very good captain choice.
Definitely. Crystal Palace also have been the team in form, and they do know when to turn it on, especially when it gets to that relegation battle. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the Joy Fantasy Football Show. And thank you very much for also watching our home. A big thank you to your whole production team and the crew for making this show possible. Catch us same time next week as we bring you more tips and of course help you prepare towards that big blank game week that's coming. But in the meantime, hope you do see some green arrows in your public leagues and your mini leagues. And up until I do see you then, always remember, Fike Lindo, which basically means stay beautiful.